It is not my job to make everybody else happy. It is not. And once I realized that, I was able to find my own happiness. Hi guys, welcome back to this channel. I am Darian, and today I wanted to talk about inner peace. I feel that so many people have been seeking inner peace and they just don't know how to get there. They don't know the steps to take. They don't know which way to go, but it's something that they are desiring. And I have been at that place where I was not fulfilled. I did not have inner peace, and I was seeking answers and seeking a way to get to it. So in this video, I'm going to share with you some of the ways that have helped me and that I believe can help you to find some level of inner peace. I'm going to start out with talking about one word, and that is balance. I noticed that when I don't have the right balance in my life, it just seems like my life is all over the place. I don't necessarily feel at peace. When you don't have that inner peace inside, that is a signal saying that something is off balance. Something is off course, and I need to figure out what it is so that I can get back to my harmonious place of inner peace. Years ago, when I was in this place where I just didn't have any inner peace, I look back and my life was very off balance. And I needed to heal. That was one thing. And I understand that everybody may not know what that means. How do I heal? How do I get to this place? How do I even touch on, what I'm feeling on the inside? So I'll speak a little bit about that later down in the video. But I just know that when I did not have inner peace in my life at a great level, it was because my life was very off balance. So what I would say is I believe that it is good for every person to focus in on balance in their life. I feel like once you can get balance down, then it's easy to kind of stay in that bubble of inner peace. And will life always be completely, perfectly balanced? Honestly, I believe no. But I do believe that there's a level of balance that you can get to where you feel like, okay, I'm walking in life and I have things together. And it is an everyday process. So what I want to say is don't feel like overnight you just have to reach this place of inner peace. It may take some months. For some people, it may take years, just being honest. And for some people, it may take weeks. It may take days. But I feel like when you're really intentional about reaching a specific goal or a specific place and you're putting in that work, that it should not take you long to see changes in life. So I have a few different areas that I want to touch on that I have broken down because I believe that we have so many different areas in our life to balance. And I believe us as just a person, we have different things to consider. Like we have our physical being, we have our spiritual being, we have our mental and emotional being. It's so many different aspects that we have to ourselves as a person. So I want to deal with different aspects as I am speaking. So I'm going to start out with talking about the mind because I feel like the mind is so important. And I know a lot of people consider the soul as the mind, will, emotions. So I'll jump into talking about the mind and then I'll jump into the next category of the soul. This may seem so simple, but I believe it is so important when it comes to our mind. And one of those things is to stay away from things that are causing you extreme stress. And that might sound like, what? But I don't think we really sit down and look at our lives a lot and say that this is actually causing me a lot of stress. This is actually not making me happy. Having these people in my life has me off balance. People can cause you stress too, and you may not even realize it. If you don't have a lot of boundaries in your life, a lot of times people will be coming in and out of your life. Even if they're not coming out of your life, they're in your life and they're causing you extra stress and pain and actually wearing down at that peace. As much as you can, try to avoid things that are causing you a bunch of extreme stress and literally taking away your peace. To be honest, a lot of people don't have boundaries. To be honest, a lot of people are afraid to say to another person, hey, this is not good for my mental space, the way that you treat me, the things that you're doing in my space. And it's okay to be honest. It's okay to say, hey, this is bothering me. Will everybody take those things and receive it well? They may not receive it well, but what do you care about more? Making sure that everybody around you is constantly happy, or do you care about your own mental peace and happiness? If you are afraid to have boundaries and stick up for yourself, I truly believe that that is one thing that can really tear at having peace in your life. A lot of times we're taught that we have to be so nice and just tolerate anything in our lives. And as I've grown and gotten older, I realized that that was not working for me. That was not beneficial to my life, and it was not helping me because I was allowing people to use me. I was allowing people to move me outside of what was comfortable for me, outside of what was allowing me to stay in a place of peace. So once I learned boundaries, guess what? My level of peace increased beyond what I ever thought that I would be able to have. Will you probably lose friends and people in your life? Yeah, you probably will. Will people not always like you because they're not able to drain you and take from you and utilize all your resources? Yeah, you may. Will you be talked about? Yeah, you may. But you have to really sit with yourself and decide what is more important to you. Because either you're going to make these changes now and just get through whatever, relational things you may have to get through by learning to stand up for yourself and have boundaries and protect yourself and protect your life, protect your mental health and your peace, or you may end up paying in the long run because now you have allowed so many people to just use you and drain you, and you may get to that place where you no longer have the strength to stand up for yourself and implement boundaries, because when you allow behaviors and things to go on for so long, it's usually not that easy to all of a sudden now start to implement and change things around. And that is because as people, we can get comfortable and the people around us can get comfortable. And if you've been accustomed to just seeing everybody else around you happy, even if it means you not being happy, it can make you feel guilty. It can make you feel bad. But one reality that I had to come into agreement with for my life is that it is not my job to make everybody else happy. It is not. And once I realized that, I was able to find my own happiness because I'm not living my life for everybody else. I'm living my life for myself. Okay, so this next thing I feel like is really important. And I feel like some people actually do these things, but I don't necessarily come across a lot of people that are doing these things. I think it's so important to have hobbies, have things that you like for your own life to keep you occupied, and not from a place of being overly busy to where you're avoiding serious matters of life. But sometimes we do need little things that we can just be happy doing. If your thing is art, if your thing is music, if your thing is, maybe you just like to try new restaurants, maybe you just like to hang out with your friends, maybe you like to host and have events. Find what makes you happy and do more of those things. Sometimes we can get so busy working that we can forget that life is to be enjoyed also. Yes, we have to work, and yes, we have bills to be paid, and yes, we have other things that we have to do and keep up with, but you can also enjoy your life. You can also take time for yourself to do something that makes you happy. If getting a massage every month makes you happy, then maybe that could be something that you can implement into your life. If whipping out a thing of paint and painting a canvas with your glass of wine is your thing, then that's your thing. But make sure that you are doing what is truly fulfilling you and allowing you to have happy moments in life. I used to be in a place where I thought working was all that I had to do. And I did not leave a lot of time for me to enjoy my life in some past years of my life. And now, once I've actually sat with myself and been like, okay, I like to do this. Let me do more of this, or let me do more of this, or let me do more of this. I have found myself in a greater place of fulfillment in life. I no longer subscribe to that I have to constantly be working to be valuable or worthy in this life. I can work, do my job, put that down when I'm done, and then I can go do something that makes me happy, that is fun, that brings me joy. And I find that when I'm doing those things, it makes me even more motivated and more efficient to now go back to doing the work that I need to do, because I don't feel so overwhelmed and drained. I have a good balance in my life when it comes to those things. Some other things could be just taking time to vacation. For some people, that makes them feel good mentally. That gives them peace. That gives them a chance to relax and breathe. For some other people, that may not do that same thing. I know that some people like to go for walks. That makes them feel like they are releasing their mind from the stressful thoughts and the things that they had to basically fight through in the day. And then also exercise. Some people like to exercise to relieve the stress from their mind. Find what helps you to mentally get to that place where you are feeling peace. I feel that journaling can be good for certain people. Some people don't know how to navigate their thoughts in their mind in a healthy way. And for some people, journaling may be a way for them to do that. Having a diary and just being able to let go of what has happened throughout the days. Okay, you guys, so let's jump into the next thing that I want to talk about, and that is the soul. So we have a soul that we have to nurture and care for too. And if not, there are usually not good consequences to that. And that may be shown in people's behaviors, their reactions, how they deal with life and handle life. So I feel like we're not really taught how to really nurture our souls or take care of our souls, but it's something that's so important, just like the other aspects of our lives. And so I have found that in my life, once I started to sit down and really look at myself and what are those things that are bothering me deep down? What are those things that need to be addressed inside of me deep down, that were broken inside of me, that were neglected inside of me, that I just thought I just had to go through life carrying this hurt and pain? When I actually sat down and dealt with those issues and wasn't afraid to go deep and discover what was actually going on in the inside of me, I started to experience greater levels of freedom. For some people, they may not be huge communicators. Some people may not actually enjoy the idea of going to somebody and talking to somebody to relieve their problems. So that can go back to journaling. Some people may enjoy journaling to get out their emotions and their feelings and all the things going on the inside. For me, going to therapy was something that was so beneficial for me. I still go to different forms of counseling, and I even myself like to go get coached because I think it's so healthy for us all to have those people that we can go to that understand our situation. Even if they have not directly walked through our situation, they know how to speak to our situations. They know how to give us effective plans for how to carry out walking forward from our situations. So for me, being able to talk to the right people, and again, I say the right people because I have opened up to people in life that I thought were friends, and that can go a negative way. So you want to make sure you're not open up to people who just want to hear your business, to gossip and go run and tell everything and feel better about their lives because their life isn't feeling like it's in shambles. So seriously, find the right people for you that can listen to you. I feel like it's so good to have people who are not biased listen to you. It's so good to have people that are not walking with you in everyday life, that have already formed their own opinions about how you should live your life or how it should be, telling you how they would solve your situation or how they would respond to your situation. I feel like it's so beneficial to have people that they know enough information to be able to give you effective advice and effective guidance in your life, but they don't necessarily know every single thing to where they're just passing a bunch of judgments or trying to live through you or tell you how to do something based off of where they feel like they would if they were you. There have been times where I've sought out counseling and coaching, and just from me speaking about the things that I have went through had allowed me to release emotionally and helped me on the path of my soul healing and my soul being renewed and restored. And once I was able to release those emotions that had been pushed down, and as we go through things in life, things can pile up. And if we're working constantly and staying busy, a lot of times we don't even realize. We just keep living our lives until something happens where it's like, okay, we got to address this. Maybe somebody now going off on people are acting out. And those are usually clear signs that something has not been addressed that needs to be addressed on the inside. Every single person needs help, even if they want to admit it, and even if they don't take the help, or they believe that they can do it on their own. We are meant to have help with each other. Now, everyone is not meant to help you. Everyone is not good to have in your life to help you, but we are meant to rely on other people to help us because we cannot do it all on our own. And after a while, trying to do it all on your own, you may notice that you are just burnt out, that you are tired in life. Ask me how I know. Take the time to sit with yourself and process the things that have happened in your life, the emotions that you have felt in your life. Cry it out if you have to, scream it out, but just make sure that you are proactive in your healing journey and really seeing what those things are that have hurt your soul, that have happened in your life, that have really broken you, and work towards finding that healing from those things that have really broken you, that have really been hard in your life. When I have done those things, I noticed that my peace was starting to be restored. Even forgive those people. I just feel led to say that. Forgive those people, because holding on to that is actually causing you to not be able to maintain that full balance for that inner peace in your life. Holding on to that bitterness and anger is actually hurting the person that's holding on to that bitterness and anger. It does not mean that those people are going to get away with what they did to you. One thing I've had to learn in my life is to give it to God. When people acting outside of what I feel that they should have acted outside of it, giving it to God, it may not be easy to walk through that process. It may feel like you let them win, but I have found that they have not won. I have found that those people were already miserable. And that's why they tried to make my life miserable, although they didn't. So work on forgiving and releasing that. When I have walked through forgiveness and worked on forgiving the people that have hurt me, it is like this weight has been lifted off of me, because I cannot carry that burden of what somebody else did to me from a wrong place. But what I can do is to let it go and move on with my life. And letting it go does not mean that they're going to get away with what they have done to you. One thing I have learned is that a person will reap what they sow in this life. And it may not seem like they are from on the outside looking in, but to be honest, we have our own life to focus on. Continue to work towards being happy and whole and living your life. And eventually, things just end up working themselves out, okay? In my own personal life, I have seen that things were not what people have tried to make it seem like it was. And so I will leave it at that. And I hope that that helped you to have the courage to forgive and move forward from whatever has been done to you. But don't neglect your soul, okay? It's been times where I have just literally listened to a song and I got healing from just listening to a song because it was speaking to my exact situation. It was telling the story of my exact situation. And the artist of the song just beautifully was able to portray what I had been through. And so there's so many different ways that we can be healed, or there's so many different ways that we could work towards, you know, having our soul get back to that whole place and that healed place. But it's a process, and you don't have to rush your process. Take the time that you need. It's your life. Don't let anyone rush you to a certain place. But I just know that me taking the initiative to embark on the journey of my healing, although it hurts, that is one thing that I have learned about healing, is that it does hurt because you do have to address the things that happen. Those emotions may come back up and they may not always be good emotions. You may be battling certain thoughts and all kinds of things throughout a healing journey. One day you may feel good, the next day you're just ready to start snapping. But I look back at the times that I have gone through deep healing, and all of those days, even though it may not have felt beautiful, were beautiful because I allowed myself to have a human experience. I allowed myself to go through the emotions and really process what has happened to me, and not just allow myself to become cold and hardened and robotic. I actually allowed myself to go through the process of healing so that I can be who I am. So nothing is holding me back and keeping me in this place of bondage from being who I am supposed to be. Okay, so let's jump into the next category, and that is the body. I have found that when I have been off on my journey of just taking care of my physical body, that things weren't always in balance and I was not experiencing that inner peace that I was looking for. So for me, there's a certain way that I like to look for my body, and we all have a certain idea and picture that we want to look for our body, and it may not necessarily all be the same. So what I had to do was learn to work on those areas, and that includes eating better foods. It doesn't mean that I eat perfectly, and honestly, I don't think most people are eating perfectly, but I'm eating in a way that my body feels fulfilled and my body is receiving the things that it needs to receive. I'm eating in a way that it's allowing me to maintain the figure that I want, or lose the weight in the areas that I want to in my body. And for some people that may actually be to gain weight. Maybe you want to gain weight, but work on your body in the best way that you can. And if you have to seek out a trainer, if you have to seek out a nutritionist, if you have to seek out even like different apps and stuff to help you to stay on track so that you're seeing that form and version of yourself that makes you feel good about yourself and brings you peace in your life, don't be afraid to utilize the resources that are available to you. I know some people may look at it as it's vain, but I truly believe we are to take care of our bodies. And even when it comes to your physical appearance, if you want to get facials, if you want to get massages, I'm not here to tell anybody what they are to do to take care of their body. But for me, I love self-care stuff, taking bubble baths and exfoliating and all those different things, different perfumes. What things make you feel good and happy and feel confident and content when it comes to your body and your life? This is your body, your life. You have to look in the mirror and see yourself. So if you want to change your hair, maybe you can try different things like that. But although I don't believe that the physical things are the most important in our lives, I do believe that it is important. I do believe that how we see ourselves has something to do with how we carry ourselves in this life. If you don't feel good about yourself, if you don't feel that you're important, if you don't feel that you're worth being taken care of or taking care of yourself, then that usually shows in a person and how they dress and how they talk about themselves and how they act and how they even treat other people. How you feel about yourself usually is reflected in how you treat others. If you don't feel good about yourself, a lot of times you're probably not always treating others the best way. If you feel good about yourself, you feel confident, a lot of times, I say a lot of times, it may not be all the time, but usually you more than likely are treating others in a good way because you have a good self-view. It's kind of hard to treat somebody well if you don't even feel well about yourself. So keep that in mind and don't feel guilty about taking care of yourself. Don't feel guilty about giving even your physical body what it needs. So staying active is something that for me, it helps me to maintain that balance in my life, and it helps me to maintain staying in that place of inner peace. I find when I have not worked out in a very long time, at least once or twice a week, honestly, probably at least twice to 3 times a week, that I don't always feel the best about myself unless I'm like on a vacation or something like that. I love working out and I love having exercise as a part of my life. It makes me feel good after the workout with everything. I guess they call it endorphins and everything flowing and everything. That makes me feel good. I feel accomplished, like I did something good for my body. And I noticed that when I have not been consistent in the past, I have felt a little more sluggish. I have felt a little more down. And honestly, I believe it's because in my mind, I group taking care of myself with being active and staying fit. Okay, you guys, so let's jump into the last topic that I want to talk as far as something that I believe is definitely necessary for inner peace and maintaining that balance in life. And I believe that is making sure that your spiritual life is taken care of. I feel like this is one of the areas of life that gets neglected a lot. I would even say probably the most. Now, when I really started to be intentional about my spiritual life and my spiritual growth and just growing, I noticed that a lot of my life was changing for the better. I truly believe that we are spiritual beings, and with that being said, if we are neglecting one of the most essential parts of us, how can we be in inner peace? How can we maintain that inner peace and joy and balance in our lives? And so I noticed that me focusing in a season deeply on this aspect and area of my life allowed me to grow and accelerate in all the other areas of my life, mentally, physically, because once I addressed the spiritual things, I was able to now see what was going on in my life in a different way with the other areas of my life. Emotionally, just so many areas started to improve. And how I believe that you spiritually can grow and thrive is by being connected to God, being connected to our Creator. I believe that we all have our different ways that we may feel more comfortable connecting to God and seeking God. For me, that is prayer. I love spending time in prayer. I love listening for when God speaks to me and His instructions for my life and what He wants me to do. And I found that as I have been obedient in those things, I have seen things open up in my life, and I have felt better on this path of life that I am on. Also, some people may want to talk to God by just going for a walk and talking to Him that way. Everybody has their different way of prayer and talking to God. how you talk to God may sound different than how me or somebody over here talks to God. But I have found that when my heart has been in it and I'm truly coming from a genuine place, that is what has mattered in my prayer time and in those moments. Focusing in on my spiritual life and going deeper with God in relationship has even allowed me to be better when it comes to the people around me and the different friendships and even family relationships and different things, because I'm able to see it from a different place. I'm able to connect with people from a different place because rather God has just showed me what I needed to see it from a better place rather than from my flesh. You know how we can get, sometimes we can get in our flesh and we don't want to see people a certain way, or we feel that we were done wrong and we don't want to handle situations a certain way. But I found when I have listened and just learned to understand people from a different place than from what my flesh wants to, that has helped me to learn to love better. That has helped me to show people grace in different ways. It has even allowed me to be able to make wiser decisions on who I have in my life. Focusing in on my spiritual life has allowed me to be awakened to certain things, and I'm even able to be able to see things that are not as good about the people around me and make decisions from that place. But I found that when I was not focused in on my spiritual life, when I was not really in tune with my spiritual life and my spiritual walk, that I just wasn't able to click everything and make those connections in my life. And I did suffer more things than I believe I needed to suffer because I wasn't in tune with my discernment and the red flags and the things that were happening around me. So that is why I say I believe taking care of your spiritual life will help the other areas of your life and help you to navigate in the other areas of your life. Another thing I like to do, and this is not to be self-righteous, not to argue with people about what I believe or all these different things, but I personally read my Bible for my own personal growth and transformation. That is something that has helped me to grow as an individual and to mature spiritually. It has helped me to adopt spiritual principles that I've been able to implement in my life and see prosperity come from it and see gain come from it and see good come in my life from it. It has helped me to transform my mind in the way I think and I go about my life in a different way. It has helped me to not just sit in the things that happen in life and be a victim, but rise up as victorious and say, no, I'm not going to settle for this in my life. I'm not going to settle for this in my life. I may be feeling anxious, but I don't have to succumb to feeling anxious. I can choose to cast whatever is making me feel that way down and say, I'm not going to dwell on this. I'm not going to allow these thoughts to take over my mind. So it has helped me a lot in those ways. I also believe that we can learn so much from each other's experiences and spiritual walks, and just having other people's life testimonies and how they have gotten through their life. I believe that that is beneficial also. So I love the idea of self-help books. Honestly, I like to watch a lot of self-help content, but I'm all here for self-help books, self-help content. There are some good things out here that are motivating, that don't give gloom and doom regarding different things in life, especially relationships and life and finances. There are things that are beneficial that can help you spiritually to learn different things and to grow in these places. So if you feel like you don't even know where to start on your spiritual journey or your spiritual walk, we all are on a different journey in our each and every life. So don't feel like you have to compare your walk or your journey. It is your journey. It is your walk. Don't let anyone bully you or pressure you into being a certain way or living a certain way. Just as you grow, make those changes as you feel you are led to change. And when I started walking in that, I started to see my life changing for the better. I started to see things so much more differently, and I started to just benefit from that new way of life. Something that I really love also that helps me just to feel at peace and calm, and I feel like even spiritually to just take a moment and rest, is I love going to different places where there's big bodies of water. I'm not saying this is what you need to do, but this is just something that I like to do. I feel calm at the beach. I feel calm near a river, and it's like silent, and I can hear the waves and the nature, and I'm in the sun just enjoying the beams coming off of the sun. I'm able to just be silent and be still and enjoy life in that moment and be present in that moment. Those moments are good for me, and they help me to feel at peace, to have them consistently in my life. All right, you guys, so I am getting ready to end this video. I hope that these things were helpful for you in maybe learning and knowing how to navigate finding that place of inner peace for your life. Again, it's your life. You know what works for you. You know what's beneficial for you. And so you have to decide those things that you want to implement in your life. But I do hope that you have a great experience on your journey to finding inner peace if you are not at that place yet. And it's okay to just be honest with where you are. I haven't always been at a place where I have felt inner peace. I haven't always been at a place where I was healed. Honestly, I had some very toxic mindsets and things that I used to do in my life to my own self, to sabotage my own self. But once I came out of that and worked towards this life that I wanted to see, and I'm still working towards the life that I want to see, I feel great. I feel like I'm finally walking in a place of fulfillment and receiving that inner peace and seeing those desires that I want to happen manifest in my life. And I believe the same thing can happen for you. So I hope that you enjoy this video and that you have a great day. Be sure to check out any other videos that interest you. Bye.